Thanksgiving Day here in North Dakota. We are out in the Badlands again for day 3 of this hunt. Nick's got the tag still. He's a little ways away from me. We're trying to use our same plan from last weekend where every time I got a little ways away from mine, spot a decent buck. So kind of back into some same area, or to the same area that we were on day 1 of this hunt. If it's anything like last weekend, we're in for another treat though, because wow, was that fun. I mean, we were seeing way more deer than we anticipated. We were seeing bucks with good frames. They were just missing a back fork, or their fronts weren't good enough. I mean, there was a lot of deer that were pretty close last weekend. So, I mean, that has us excited about this week. We did notice last weekend a lot of the more mature bucks were locked down with does. They weren't necessarily chasing them, they were just with them all the time. No matter where they went, but they weren't trying to push them and chase them around. So, if we can find some does, that always helps too. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and let's have a good morning out here in the Badlands of North Dakota. It is November 23rd, 2023, Thanksgiving, and Jalen and I are chasing mule deer in North Dakota again. This is technically our 3rd day out, and I think that's what it'll be on this mule deer series, day 3. But we took, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, so there's been a 3-day break. And now we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to hunt. So, I don't know if Jalen's been seeing much. I've had a little action. I got a group of bucks. Looks like one decently mature buck, but he's just like a big fork or maybe 3x3, I don't know. I got a doe bedded down way out there that I just didn't have the camera light for to get. And I saw one other buck. Again, didn't have the camera light to get, but it wasn't anything special. So we got a north wind today, so I'm looking right into a cold north wind. It's lower 20s out right now, and I'm all bundled up. I got the Sitka Jetstream jacket underneath this I don't know, some kind of soft shell from Sitka, but I don't even think they make it anymore. But it used to be just a really heavy soft shell that has the wind stopper in. And it's warm, but I'm still getting a little cold. There's enough of a breeze to really get a guy chilled. So I got the hand warmers going in my mittens and just hoping to find a big buck. I'm gonna keep glassing here for a while. The sun hasn't even come up yet. And the previous 2 days we've been out here, that's when all the deer started moving. It was when the sun came up, which is kind of weird, but I don't know, we'll see if they're on the southern exposures today, hiding from the wind, or if they'll stick to the northern exposures if it's not quite cold enough and they want to stay out of the sun still, but we'll see what happens, guys. I just waved Jalen over here a little bit ago because I had a pretty good buck. And then he brought the spotting scope, so I'm now finally getting a little better look at him. Pretty good buck, really tall. Can't tell 100% yet, but he just got here and he's like, oh, there's a buck over here. Then it ends up being that buck that we passed up the first day last week. Crazy.
watch. He had a couple deer spotted. He needed the spotter so that he could check out a buck. And right as I got over here, I spotted some deer that he hadn't seen yet. And it actually turns out to be the buck that we saw last week. So get to know that he's still in the area, because he's a nice deer, and as the days keep ticking, he's a good option to have. So Nick was looking at a buck. I still don't know if he likes it or not, but I came over here to get a better look at this one just to make sure and get some footage of him.
I think he does have a kicker off his back, right? I think so. It sure looked like it there. I know, but I didn't know if it was his fork. No, I think I could still see both the times. Okay, because yeah, last week. Yep. Same thing, but I thought his fork was like slanted. Yeah, that's exactly what I actually thought it was. But right there in the sun, I could definitely see two things reflecting. You know what I mean?
I just got word that this buck is cool, so I gotta go check him out.
Here, let me show you this. Hold on, he'll turn. He's like not great right there, but you know how tall he is.
Tall, looks pretty heavy too.
Watch this, he'll turn here. You can see this big kicker off his right side. My hand is freezing. Watch this. Turns to that big kick. Oh man.
What's his? Okay, he's got forks on both sides. He's bigger than the one that's over here,
I think so too, dude.
Is he a shooter?
Oh man. He gets the work going. I love that kicker, dude.
He looks tall and heavy.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have like the spread.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the buck you got last year. You know, just maybe not quite as good as that. Actually, a little better than that, probably. But dude, he looks freaking sick to me. Jalen, this buck's cool. He has a big kicker on him. I'll get it.
So far, I just didn't know if we'd find him.
God, this one's narrow, but he's heavy.
There is a bullet casing up here, so this must be a good spot.
Alright, well, Jalen and I have sat here for a little bit, and kind of crazy that we spotted the buck that we passed on day one. And talk about two different kind of deer. I spotted this one that I waved over Jalen to begin with. It's like, man, he was a long ways away, so I couldn't really tell how good he was. He's in some steep stuff too, but a lot like Jalen's buck last year. Tall, narrow, heavy, has a cool kicker, and Jalen has informed me that he definitely would shoot it if he had my tag. He just says, cool buck. We've checked off a lot of the area. I don't know, but I think the plan is he is bedded again. He's bedded twice, so usually that'll be kind of their all-day bed, but he's with a doe. The doe, I can't tell if the doe's bedded or not, but we're gonna get down, and we're gonna go that way anyway, even if we didn't see him. So we're gonna get to that peak, or ridge, and see if he's worth shooting. I don't know. I'm excited. I kept freaking shaking, so maybe that might be telling me something that it might be a shooter, because Jalen's like, oh, should we get some coffee? And I was like, I hate to say it, but it's not even cold. I got adrenaline, I'm shaking because I'm excited, and that probably should tell me that the heart wants that buck. Yeah, I think we have to go pretty soon because my toes are getting cold too.
I hear you clucking, big chicken.
That doe's working her way down still. Bed the heck down. The more I freaking think about him, I'm like, he's a cool buck, so that adds to, like, you're not just shooting him just because of the score.
Dark top head.
Yeah, he looks mature. Honestly,
like you said, if his main beams just went out a little bit farther, I think he'd be a no-doubter.
Yeah. His fronts too.
I still think he might be a no-doubter, but
yeah, you're probably right.
It looks kind of gnarly actually down in there.
It does.
I was just kind of hoping maybe you can take the creek.
I see a cattle trail on the other side. If we can get to the other side, and I see cattle trails here, so I feel like they have to cross in there someplace. Definitely looks gnarly though. He's running.
Running?
Yep. Can't see him anymore. Going around that way. Alright, I'm gonna start putting stuff together. My feet are getting too freaking cold. Because you just never know about the mule deer rut. In 3, we were cold and we needed to start moving, so, and that might have been the most important reason. On us, and for now, yeah, you're right. But we ended up kicking that doe off, but we actually did find another fork bedded down in some really thick trees. Just kind of a lucky deal, but so you could be right with that fork. Maybe that was the buck he trotted around the corner to scare off, but we decided it's late enough in the day, it doesn't do any good for us to just walk around. It's just too thick in here. So we're gonna have some lunch. Jalen's got the jet boil going. We're gonna have some ramen noodles, and we got some freshly made elk jerky too. So it should be a good lunch. us up a little bit. We ducked on the backside of a hill over here just to be out of the wind. So sitting in the sun and out of the most of the wind anyway. So can't complain too much. Well, it's 3 o'clock. We got about 2 hours till sunset, so 2.5 hours of shooting light. We've sat at this spot all day after we were checking around. One or two of us may have taken a nap. Jalen says I napped, but I don't know if I believe him or not. But Jalen calls it a Randy Newberg power nap, so hopefully it gives us some luck. We're gonna split up again, because we're hoping that that buck is just right to the north of us here. And there's some thick trees down there. We saw one little fork buck. Since we've been here, we were kind of checking, but that wind's so cold, we wanted to stay hidden behind this wind because we're kind of soft. But we did see that fork buck at one time, and he worked his way down, so maybe he was even following him. So Jalen's gonna go over here and kind of look kind of exactly in this ravine. I'm gonna go wrap around and look into another ravine that's over this little saddle that we think he could also worked his way to. So we'll see what happens. I'm at my evening glassing knob. I got Jalen, he's to my southeast. We got a north wind here. And I just glassed up 6 does. Got the bottom of the straight, there's 6 does and fawns, I should say. But that's kind of the biggest group of does that we've seen around here, so we're definitely, oh, here comes another one. White face, gotta be a buck. That's a buck. Can't tell how good a buck it is, looks pretty good. I gotta get him. Not the best glassing spots here. Just the reason we're here is because we think that this is where the buck went. But there's just so much timber. Like behind me here, I don't know what you can see, but there is just so much timber, so he could pop up at any time.
just to see if they're rutting up top at all. Really just gotta get moving again. It's getting super cold. It's supposed to be like down into the single digits tonight.
Well, we didn't find the buck. Unfortunate, but oh well. We got a little cold and we worked our way out to these flats to see if there's any rutting activity. Jalen didn't see it, but there's some hunters in a Jeep over here that are just driving around everywhere, which is frustrating. I didn't say anything earlier when I wasn't sure if the road they were on was accessible. You know, I never know if you get private land access or whatever. And now I see them going onto a point back up, going another point back up. It's like, okay, that ain't legal. So that's a little frustrating, but it's a ways away from where we saw our number one hitless buck. So I don't know, long walk back now, and it's chilly, but it's the way it goes. But not the greatest evening. Probably our lowest glassing session the whole trip, but that's alright. We kind of sound like neither one of us was looking over very much area. We were just kind of guessing that's where that big buck went and bedded, and we either guessed wrong or he held tight and we never saw him. So hopefully we can get on him tomorrow.